Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Play Kirby's Adventure, the second game in the Kirby series after Kirby's Dream Land. I'm just going to let the tutorial play because if you actually want to get the story for this game, you have to sit through this little tutorial here, so yeah. Anyway, welcome back. This is Let's Play I've been wanting to do for a little while now. I enjoy the Kirby series, even though Kirby well and truly does suck. So yeah. I've been looking forward to this game for a bit, and you can see here Kirby's got all these basic abilities from the first game. He can jump, he can fly, he can suck enemies in, but here's where it gets new for him. When the game wants to actually do it, Kirby can actually copy enemies' abilities now after sucking them in, so Kirby's a lot more versatile this time around, and this is the game that introduced Kirby's copying ability. So yeah, it's a pretty big game for Kirby considering this is basically what he's known for now. So yeah, I gotta tell you that spark description is a bit misleading. It doesn't exactly paralyze enemies, it usually just outright destroys them, so yeah, a little bit misleading, but ah well. You have Kirby with a sword. I really enjoy Sword Kirby, but we'll get into all these abilities in-game when we actually get to them. Like I said, we're just watching this tutorial go by just to cover the basics of what Kirby's actions are, and on top of that to get the story. So I don't really have to explain many of the basics of this game anymore. We all know Kirby runs, jumps, he slides and all that stuff, so... And here we have the mini-bosses in this game. They take a few more hits to do, but when you beat them you get an ability. Normally it's one of the rarer abilities, so yeah, we'll get into those more when we actually encounter them in the game. And we will be doing all the abilities Kirby can get in this game. I will make sure to show them all off, but here we go with the actual plot. So yeah, this is what's happening. The citizens of Dreamland aren't having dreams, which you can probably imagine is kind of a problem for a place called Dreamland. So yeah, I don't know why the Star Rod's called the Star Rod and not the Dream Rod, but oh well. And I can't believe DDD was swimming in its waters of all things. It's pretty extreme just to go swimming in the pools once you've stolen the rod from it and broke it into pieces. You think that makes you a pretty huge suspect for Kirby to go after. You know, just saying. Well, here we go now. After, what, 2-3 minutes of tutorial, we can finally get into the game now. This is actually one of the NES games that actually does save your game, so we're going into File 2 in Vegetable Valley. I gotta say, I love these little animations before each level here. It's just so great. And here we are, into the first level. So, World 1 Vegetable Valley, Level 1. So we're running along here, and the first enemy we come to is a Waddle Doo, which will give us the beam ability. If you press pause, the game does give you a quick description on what the ability actually does. So, yeah, the beam ability is sort of a energy beam sort of deal. That does a sort of arc shape, and it's really good for defeating multiple enemies at once in front of you. And I'm just going to run this way a little bit to respawn that next enemy, because that's the next ability we got. So we've done Beam. Ow. And now we've got Spark Kirby. Now Spark Kirby is mostly a defensive ability, as you might have seen from the tutorial. And basically Kirby just does this. You can hold it out for as long as you want, really, and any enemies that walk into it will be defeated by it, so yeah. Pretty nice, pretty simple. I'm not that keen on the more defensive Kirby abilities, gotta be honest with you, so I will not be keeping hold of them much, and I just land straight in that. But here we have Fire. It's one of Kirby's most basic and straightforward abilities, suck up an enemy, you can breathe fire now, so yeah. And yeah, that's just a hollow screen for fire, so yeah. A lot of these abilities you'll get right away, you'll understand what they are, and Like, even though it's incredibly basic, I do enjoy the fire ability, but I think I prefer beam more out of all the abilities we've seen so far. Yes, all 3 of them. So, yeah. Right. Here we have Spark, and like I said, I don't want defensive abilities, and I swear I jumped over that, but... eh. Ah well. Poppy Brothers Jr. there. And I should have got the beam ability, but oh well. Now, that there was a maxing tomato. If you grab one of those, your health will always be refilled fully. There's other health items in this game, but they will only refill like 2 or 3 segments, or sometimes just 1. And I'm meant to be out of the water if I want to suck up beam enemies, but ah well. I'll just keep running. And we've actually reached the end of the first level. Now you gotta press it with like ideal time, which is like towards the very bottom of the screen, like just as about to launch back, and if you can get all the way to the top, you get a 1-up. Now if you've done everything possible in the stage, because in like some of the stages in this game there are secret areas and secret switches to push, the door will change to a white door. As there's no secret areas in any part of Vegetable Valley, every door will be exiting will turn white. And we've also unlocked our first minigame, which is Crane Fever. It's basically one of those arcade crane machine games. You just gotta hold down A and then release at the right time. Now the small Kirbys are worth 1 extra life and the big Kirbys are worth 2, and I don't think I've quite done this right to get this one. Let's see. Oh, and yeah, we got it. So that's okay. I think I'm gonna risk it for the big one again. Go big or go home, really. And I think I definitely overshot that one. Like, if my girlfriend was watching this, she'd be incredibly disappointed because she's really into these arcade machines. And yeah, I didn't get that at all, really. But hey, I got one of them, so that's 2 extra lives for me, at least. Not that you really need it. Kirby is not a super challenging series, to be honest. But here we go. Vegetable Valley 2. See, that is a Gordo there. Those enemies are pretty damn deadly. They will take away half your health if you touch them, and they are impossible to defeat. I believe this cannon is called a Shotzo. Like, the cannonballs will either aim directly into one spot, or they will follow you around like this one's doing now. And they don't do like too much damage. I think they just do 1 chunk of your health per cannonball, but they can't be defeated, so you're going to want to avoid them in general. I'm just hoping I can make this new enemy, well, this new power for Kirby respawn, but there we go. This is the Cutter ability, and actually another one of my favourites in this game. Basically, Kirby throws a boomerang. You can jump over it and it goes behind him, so it is pretty useful. Just hop on the warp star here. Okay, and now I forgot I need to pause for Cutter. And it's basically how he explained it. They're used like boomerangs, so you can throw multiple ones at once. I think you can have up to 3 on screen, so do with that what you will. I think it's pretty simple. And here we have our first mini-boss of the game. This is want to show off its ability. Here we go. Right, so this is Poppy Brothers Senior, and if you have no copy ability that you can attack them with going into a battle, they will always throw a projectile of some sort to defeat a mini-boss, and boom! Now this is actually one of the more unique abilities. This is a Crash Kirby. As you can see in the bottom right corner of the screen, just above Kirby's lives, we now have a star counter, which it actually indicates how many times we can use this power before it gets used up. You can see it's a kind of a screen nuke, really, so all enemies on screen will be defeated immediately upon use. So let's just use it here. And you see, it's pretty damn impressive, really. Whilst Kirby's underwater, you can tap the jump button to swim a bit faster. As you press the inhale button, Kirby will now squirt out water, which does actually damage enemies. I don't know why I didn't cover this earlier, but there you go. And I haven't actually paused for normal Kirby, so let's just check this out. So it's just telling you how to actually get copy abilities. We'll get Beam Kirby here. We'll do that. Now, right over here, the game tries to trick you by giving you a spark enemy here, but you actually can't break both of those blocks with a spark Kirby. So, Beam's pretty useful to have there. There will be certain situations where different abilities are better suited, obviously. So, yeah, you got to bear in mind which ones you're keeping hold of. And right up here, we have Sword Kirby. So I'm just going to drop that by pressing the select button, and here we go. Sword Kirby. It's pretty cool. See, so like I just shown, you can attack in midair, and Kirby will attack all around him. This is one of the few abilities in the game that actually changes depending on like the context you use it in, and I kind of like it. Like, it's a pretty strong and pretty quick attack move. So yeah. Don't know if I got the timing on that again. No, I've missed it. Only 800 points for me. You see the door turn white, because like I said, there's no secret areas we have to worry about. So yeah, let's just move on to level 3. See, now, like I said, the cannons are invincible, but if they've got blocks underneath them like this, they will fall when you remove them. So it's pretty useful to know. Get rid of that. There you go. And apparently Kirby's breath can actually like take those cannonballs out of the sky, which is also pretty handy to know, I guess. See, there's a lot of these enemies that you'd think you'd get an ability from, but they're actually just there as kind of a nuisance, really. See, here we have another ability. This is the Fireball ability, where if you just press the attack button, Kirby will go flying. Basically, like it says there, and one of my favourite things to do with this, and I don't know why, it's just if you attack repeatedly into a wall with it, Kirby will climb up the wall. And there's really no purpose to this, because Kirby can fly on his own perfectly fine, but like, I think it's just cool to do that. A lot of later Kirby games will actually combine this with the fire ability in some fashion. Like, either the fire ability itself will replace Fireball, or using, rather than breathing fire, you know what I mean, like, or you could be dashing and try using Fire Breath and it'll turn into Fireball Kirby. But yeah, I just lost my ability there, so that kind of sucks. Let's swim out. Yeah, one of my favourite things in this game is just, if you're just hovering in the water with Kirby full of air, he will just bounce. And that's kind of cool. So this is really like graphically intense for an NES game. Like, it's one of the best looking NES games in my opinion, if not like the best, really. Like, it's really pretty for an NES one. Like, for an 8-bit title, yeah, it's good. And I don't care about losing fire there or losing health, because I've got both of them right down here. Now, one thing I haven't talked about is if you absorb 2 enemies at once that can both give you an ability, what the game will do is it will randomly like choose which ability you get based on a roulette, and I mean like it will choose from any ability in the game to actually give Kirby. So like, for instance, you can't combine ice and bomb to get ice bombs. You will get like a completely random ability like a hammer or something. So yeah. Alright, here we have the first instance of the museum. When you come here, there will always be a set enemy in here that you can swap out your ability for. Unfortunately, I just set my guy on fire, so and I actually prefer sword to fire, so let's just do this again. Right, those different museums in different worlds with different enemies, so yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on those whenever we unlock them. Oh, and I love this theme. Like, if there's anything else about Kirby games, like, I've already gushed over the visuals, but like the music for Kirby games is like always really catchy as well. Let's see, I'm just gonna shoot you because I need your ability anyway to show it off. So we have Freeze Kirby. This is basically an ice version of Spark Kirby, and if enemies come in contact with Kirby, they don't get immediately defeated, they get turned into a block of ice. And as you can see in the bottom of the screen there, it's got Kirby in a little like Parker thing, and I think it's pretty cute, and it's kind of like an inspiration for Ice Climber Kirby in a way. But yeah, as you can see, like the enemies aren't instantly defeated. You have to freeze them and then kick them. But see, one thing about this is if you just hold down the freeze button for ages, they do eventually get defeated just through freezing. But like it does take a while, and you are better off just, you know, kicking them yourself. Now, like I said, I don't really like the whole defensive abilities thing, and freeze is kind of one of those. I prefer the other version of the ability, the other like ability that freezes enemies, which is called Ice, which basically was like an ice version of the fire ability. So I prefer that. Then we have another defensive ability, Needle Kirby. So yeah, this is another one where if enemies just walk into Needle Kirby, then they will get defeated. But unlike a lot of the other defensive abilities, Needle Kirby is actually a temporary thing that you can't hold down the button indefinitely. If you just hold it down, it eventually retracts like that. So yeah. So out of all the defensive ones, Needle's probably the worst, to be honest, and like I think it's probably the rarest one in the game out of all the defensive abilities as well. So yeah. And I think we're about to be introduced to another little thing here. Yes, here we have Hyper Kirby. And Hyper Kirby doesn't get a pause screen, but basically, think of it as like getting a star in Mario. You're invincible, you will destroy enemies that you run through, and yeah, it's temporary. Like, you'll have a few seconds to do it, and it does last a little bit longer than the music. Whilst Kirby was still flashing there, he was completely invincible, even if the music wasn't playing, so yeah. But here we go. One of these days I will get a 1-up on screen, but I'm normally pretty good at it, but, you know, recording curse and stuff. I always thought this was like DDD, like, giving 2 fingers up at us, like, just swearing at us with his hands, but yeah, I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be. I'm just going over here and checking that I didn't miss any like extra doors or anything. But yeah, like if you want to get Sword Kirby, which I actually do, because it's better than Needle. There we go. If you inhale a like star that has one of your abilities as well as an enemy, then the star will actually overwrite it, and you will get whatever that star originally was back. So if I inhaled the Needle ability with the sword, I would have got Needle back. And here we have the first boss of the game, Wispy Woods, who you might remember is the first boss of Kirby's Dream Land, in fact. Right, sorry about that minor cut there. So Wispy Woods, basically his attacks are to throw apples down at you and shoot little shots of breath at you. Both of which can damage you, but like if you don't have an ability coming in here, which I don't see why not since you got the museum, so you might as well just use that, then Kirby has to suck up the apples, and I can't believe I died on Wispy Woods. That is rather embarrassing. I'm going to blame it on the fact that I came in there with half health and got cocky with him, but yeah. That's kind of embarrassing. Here we go again. Like I said, Kirby isn't that hard of a game, really. That's just kind of embarrassing. Here we are, Wispy Woods, boss of Vegetable Valley. Ironically uses fruit to attack you and not vegetables, but hey. Right, so if you just have an ability like Sword, you can kind of still knock him for a while. And I've just lost my ability like Sword. As was shown there, like if you look in the bottom of the screen when I swallow with something that doesn't give me ability, it says nothing, and Kirby kind of gets a little upset about it. Such is the way of life, Kirby. Anyway, just gotta use one more apple, and boom! I want to say thank you for watching this first episode. I will hope you join me for the next one in the second world.